Hi all and welcome to this video falsification exercise number 4. Yesterday I asked you the question, black to move, what would you play? Would it be either queen d7 takes e6 or would it rather be knight d5 takes e3? Now, since we're looking at this position from the point of view of black, let's just switch the position around, right? In chess it's normally not really possible to do proper chess thinking and come to correct decisions if there is, let's say, no minimum amount of background information in your head about the position. So one important aspect, for instance, about, let's say, the background information of this position is that at the moment we have material balance. But as I said in yesterday's video, it's also very important to see where sides can hurt each other. And for that reason, we will have to figure out very precisely what targets and weaknesses in both positions are. Now, if we're trying to falsify a move, then we're trying to invalidate a move. So that includes that we take a look at ways in which our opponent can hurt us. Yeah? So risk management first in chess. So having said that, let's take a look at black's weaknesses, which are in turn white's targets. Well, there is an unprotected knight here on d5. There is, go away, there's an unprotected rook here on a8. Of course, the queen is en prise by the pawn on e6, very important. So that's a target. Then also there is a target here on h6. As explained yesterday, this pawn is in balance. It's attacked once and it's attacked twice. And in balance means that something is a target. Okay. We could also say that the bishop is a target because it can be hit in one move by a piece of lesser value, in this case the knight. It's also important to remember that. And then of course the queen is not only a target since it is under attack right now, she's also a target because she is unprotected, and last but not least she can also be hit by a piece of lesser value in one move. So to sum up, we have targets here, 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 and here, as far as I can see. Okay. Oh, and last but not least, of course, the king. If you can put the king in check in one move, then the king is also a target, according to my rules and guidelines. So that's 6 targets. And you know, the funny thing about these targets is that more often than not, the most innocuous target is the one that tells at the end of, let's say, a certain variation. So we should take into account all these targets. You know, it's not just the queen that's a target at the moment, and that if you solve that problem, then everything's okay, right? There are more targets here in black's position, and I think that's very important to recognize. Okay. So I think the best move here is queen takes e6, winning a pawn, even though now again the queen is a target, because again by one move she can be attacked by a piece of lesser value, in this case the rook on e1. And of course white will try and regain the pawn with bishop h6. But after queen d7 we have just an exchange of pawns with the better chances for black, I think, due to white's weak pawns on b2 and d4. Okay, now you might ask yourself, but hey, our favorite way of defending is always the counterattack, Waldemar. You've told us that statistically speaking the counterattack is the most important type of defense. Now we're being attacked here by the pawn, right? But why don't we counterattack? We can counterattack by taking on e3 and setting up an attack that is at least as strong as white has against our queen, because now in turn we are attacking white's queen, right? And in the process we're also taking a bishop, a whole piece, on e3. So maybe there are some guys who favor this move over the other. But of course you have to calculate and try and falsify this this particular candidate. The fact that the counterattack, statistically speaking, is the most important type of defense doesn't mean that that holds true in 100% of the cases, right? Because here, if we just, let's say, push things and we take the queen, then we force black in turn to also take our queen, right? That is to say, black's queen. But now here comes the all-important blow, hitting two of black's aforementioned targets. The king on g8 and the rook on a8. And this is the move that really falsifies the knight takes e3 line. Because one way or the other, white is going to get a queen if we take here, which is probably not a very good alternative for black, or if we just sidestep with the king, then we lose the rook in the corner. And this position, even though we lost the bishop on e3 in the process, we had to give up our rook on a8 as well. And last but not least, we're also now threatening to make a queen, and that would cost black another piece. So probably you would have to go something like bishop f8, defending against that promotion. But of course now white just to simply up the exchange, and he has all the winning chances here. I mean, what could he play? Many moves are possible, I suppose. He could just try this, or maybe he could just try this and try and hit, you know, all these weak targets in black's camp. So there you have it. It's no more, no less difficult than that. We need to gather some background information about the position, just sort of summarize for ourselves what's going on, and then very closely examine all the targets in the position. Well, having said that, here is the next assignment for you. This is going to be number 4, today's new position. Here again it is black to move. What would you play? Would it be knight f5 to e7, hitting white rook? Or would it be knight f5 takes h6, snapping off that nasty pawn? Okay, well, up to you. I hope you can find the right answer. Don't forget, just falsify your moves. If you can find a way in which your opponent can invalidate your move, then you know that you shouldn't play that move. Then of course you should go on to falsifying the other move and then evaluate, and in the end you should choose the best of both moves. Well, as always, please like, subscribe and comment, and if you want to know more about me and my services, please take a look at my website betyourchess.com. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye bye.